What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your daily creative reading for September 19th. I almost wanted to say 29th, but it is not correct. That is incorrect. So September 19th. Let us dive in here and see where the day takes us, shall we? Let us away, as it were. It's like she just sits with like a throne. Like that's what happened. She's like, yes, I've arrived. She's like, this bores me. So cute. Okay, Spirit, what messages do you have? All of them. All the messages. These two first, and then this one last. Gotcha. Okay, so you are divine beauty. I'd have to agree, my lovelies. I gotta agree. Okay. Dearest you, we're a chatty bunch over here, always talking about how to support you in your life's journey. We communicate to you through the language of oracles, dreams, signs, metaphors, and omens. In your life on Earth, however, clarity in your communication is essential to being understood. You don't speak in symbols, and if you did, you would definitely confuse things. The way it came through, I'm like, you would definitely. Anyway, right now you're facing a situation in which you're being asked to have integrity, be clear, and learn how to ask for your needs to be met. The first step is to admit out loud that you have needs. The second is to ask out loud for them to be met. And the third is to allow the other person, organization, or even us to answer you. When you follow these steps, you can most definitely expect an answer. In your favor, affirmative, we say. Loving you so very much. I really love this because it's almost like, it's like being asked to have integrity is just being right with yourself and being fearless about communicating what you want. Like, we complicate integrity so much, but that's literally what it is. Your inside integrity within yourself when you are expressing that part of you outwardly in a way that's honest to what's going on inside. So you're not saying, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I'll see you there. And you can't do it. And it's like sometimes things come up where you realize after the fact you can't, but it's like, this is where it's like boundaries and operating outside of codependent behaviors start to come in, right? So that's a thing. Okay, so then this is live your dreams. It's almost like integrity is the gateway. Wow, okay. The Integris gateway. That sounds so intense. Why is this pen fuzzy? That's weird. The Integris gateway. That's what it feels like. Whether that's going to be a title or not, I don't know. Maybe inspo for something else, but yeah. Okay, so live your dreams. Dearest you, isn't it amazing how things could seem to come around again full circle in ways you could not possibly have planned? You wonder how a dream could die only to be resurrected years later when you're really ready. You thought it was time back then, but your wisdom knows better than your small self, whose desires are unmet. Now, here you are with a new opportunity to do things from a different, more mature perspective. We want you to trust that in this new opportunity for rebirth, you will be called in two directions, and the one that is unfamiliar will be the right one. In the unknown spaces, the uncharted places of infinite potential, we are waiting to guide you into your fullest life. Big bounty will come if you remain in the present. You have come full circle, and now you can see that everything changes, is made new, and is given new hope. Loving you always. I really like this here. It's almost like it's like integrity is the compass. Now I'm going to write that down. Oh my gosh. Integrity is the compass. You know, interestingly, last week it was sort of the journey of the emperor. Now I feel like it's almost like the fool, like that compass vibe, right? The vibe of the compass. So let's see where this takes us, shall we? Let us away. It just feels so official to be like onward. Okay. Starting at the Four of Swords. The call to adventure is more of a call to nap. Okay, let's see where this goes. I mean, I'm sure that there's like some Taurians out there who are like, it's my time. I've never met a Taurus that doesn't like a good nap. You know what I mean? It's just like, if it's loud anywhere in their chart, it's just down. That's possibly, it's not even a stereotype. It's just people that I've known. So, Four of Swords, Three of Wands, Nine of Cups. Wow. It's almost like the refusal is like, I'm feeling like FOMO, like there's a fear of missing out that's like operating in the background here, especially with these energies. Like the refusal is like, it's almost like you're worried about missing out, and what you don't realize is that that is a refusal, right? That is a refusal, because it's like it makes it so that your good can only come through this route when it wants to come through this route, right? So it's like something so different. It's huge. So let's see where this takes us. Spirit, what additional messages to complete this hero's journey, to continue on this hero's journey, you have for us? Page of Wands, Hanged Man, the Wheel. Whoa. Okay. This is where it's like you're swimming upstream. You're swimming upstream. Abraham Hicks all over the place. But this is like, the wheel to me is like fate, like this flow of fate. And it's like you're trying to swim upstream. And that's what this refusal is about. The Three of Wands and the Nine of Cups. You're like, no, 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 no. I have to figure it out myself. That's what I've been taught. That's how I attract. That's how I manifest. But it's like the Page of Wands is here to suggest that there's a new way of being inspired that doesn't seem overwhelming at first, but that's perfect, because 555 on the time, maybe a change for you. And sorry, my roommates got a new kitten, because I will be moving soon and taking my lovely darling Eva with me, of course. And it's like this little Ragamese kitten, so Ragdoll Siamese. And she's just like wandering all over the place, but she's so tiny, and I'm worried about like moving my chair at all. So yeah, she's gone. Okay. Anyway, I'll see if she can make it into a video that I do, because she's actually quite adorable. Who doesn't love kittens, right? Anyways, the Page of Wands here is in the could become a tower if it goes unchecked position. I think because it's like if you ignore the small, right? There's a passage or chapter in, or at least a part of Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, Gathering Moss, that talks about in praise of the small. And I feel like that's what this is here. It's like in praise of the small. Think about how ancient and long-lasting moss and algae are, but comparatively to the world around us, when we go for a hike in the woods, what we see, we don't see the algae as that profound. But the entire reason why, arguably and scientifically, we are here as we are right now is because of the small algae, moss. These are our ancestors, right? Not and we have to pay respect to the way that it's that indigenous beliefs that register slightly differently. So it's not to appropriate that either. But I'm saying, like, scientifically speaking, we are born of these things, right? So that's like historically over the arc of our human existence, we come from those things. So it's almost like ignoring that, not where you come from. Maybe it is, but this is like the small sparks that alight something bigger. And it's also this like playfulness, right? This playfulness. So allow yourself to be curious. And I almost feel like don't take it too seriously, because right now you're needing perspective. And perspective is, that can come in so many different forms, I know. But I think that the perspective you need here is on your relationship to what you may associate or call fate, right? I know I've been kind of cynical about it. I'm like, fate. Like it, because I feel like it can be so like, I don't know, what is destiny, right? Like I know. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's the flow of life. It's divine timing. It's all of these things. And I think I've had to like, maybe this is a story that I'm sharing because it's like you have to get back into a right relationship with the idea of fate, because it can actually be amazing. And I think that it's in the antagonist position because two things: not having that right relationship can pull you inside or outside of integrity with yourself. And that is the biggest indicator of fate at work, as opposed to something coming from the outside and working on your behalf or behind the scenes, that kind of thing. That does happen. But nonetheless, you can see my bruise. I had to get blood work done this week. And like, I don't even know what she did. It's so ridiculous. I had blood work done like a week and a half ago, and this did not happen. There's like a huge bruise. It's like unsightly and it's embarrassing. But anyways, nonetheless. So I think that's how this relationship to fate is playing out, because I think it's not just an integral part of things for you. I think it has to do with your feeling and sense of integrity within yourself. Let me turn this on here. There we go. It's got something to do with your sense of integrity, like how right and aligned. It's about alignment. Thank you so much, Spirit. Like it's alignment within yourself, not just in the reaching towards your dreams, but also in the paving forward of your life, right? Are you sitting on the sidelines, or are you an active participant? And, this is where it's like sometimes the sidelines are more constructive, and sometimes participation is just as important, no matter how much you know or have. But it's almost like this sense of play. And I feel like the Hanged Man is, I don't want to say a serious disposition because it's Piscean and Neptune energy, so it's a little bit dreamy, but I think maybe this is here just to say, like, pull back from the serious. Like if you dismiss the small fun or the curiosities. I love it when she does this. It's like she's so comfortable. She loves tarot. It's like you can pull yourself into such a serious place, and that sort of, it trivializes the steps on the pathway that might actually be part of fate. So you start looking for the serious and the big things that would indicate the sound of a bowling ball coming down an alley or something like that, right? Like I'm hearing thunder. We're supposed to get thunderstorms here today, but it's just like, it's like that idea of, and I'm recording this on Sunday. So it's like, it's that idea though of, like you can hear something coming, but the way that you interpret that comes through the filters of your pain. It comes through the filters of your experience, of your expectations, of your beliefs. So it's like making sure that you're in that relationship with fate that is integrous with what you believe and want for yourself, right? So I think there's like, this is a very magnetic time. It's definitely a retrograde, but I think it's like and I've read this before, but this one's a little bit more gentle, a retrograde, than others may be, or the way we interpret them. Ultimately, I think retrogrades are amazing. I mean, I was born when Mercury was direct, but I think I was born under a new moon. But it's just like, it's this idea of looking back to move forward, right? 11:11 was just on the time. Looking back to move forward. 9 of Swords is the challenge. The overcoming is the 10 of Cups. Yikes. That's amazing. Yikes, not bad. Yikes. I want it to be like, yikes. Like, this is great. Stupid sound effects, I know. But it's like the overcoming is like, look for the silver linings in things, right? This is all the good news. So the good and bad news. The good news, the bad news here, right, relative, is, that it is a stressful time. The good news is that it's you. You're up. This is up to you. It's in your hands. This isn't like a tower where something could surprise you. This is you. This is your thoughts, right? And it's like your call to adventure is to give yourself a break, maybe. The call to adventure is to step into this aspect of emotional fulfillment and to be integrous with what you want. Even if it's like this, goofy, playful, fun disposition towards life that I don't know, I'm hearing eschew, like ESCHEW, like eschewed. You've eschewed it, and you've sort of pushed it away a little bit, but I don't know why. Like, and sometimes things just are serious. Like, you have to approach it from a more serious disposition. And when there's a backlog of things like that, it's because we've been manifesting those things to either teach us lessons or because we believed something fundamental to them and our lives. But we don't need that necessarily. We don't need that. So I think the overcoming is to take this 9 of Cups that is like, it's almost like this refusal energy, right? Like, it's like you're denying yourself something, some truth about what you really want emotionally. And you've just got to lean into it. You've got to lean into it, because it's not just wish fulfillment. It's not just wish fulfillment. This is about like a relational fulfillment that matches the wish fulfillment that you have because you're whole and complete unto yourself. And like understanding what whole and complete means, right? We can say it so often, but whole and complete just means that you are comfortable in your own skin. It means that, there are times where we all feel insecure, like myself included. Like it's not when it's a permanent state, it's a belief, right? And I feel like this is about moving towards things that feel like your soul is singing. It makes your heart sing, right? This could be relationship. This could also be friendships. This could just be like soul family connections, things like that. But the core is that it's a relational fulfillment. It's a fulfillment that happens because of and with, right? I should say with more than because of, but it's like, it's a becoming with, as it were. Spirit, what messages do you have for this awakening? What are we being awakened to today and this week? Your truth, your integrity. This is perfect. Oh, thank you so much, Spirit. This is a delight. This feels so fresh. It's like a breath of fresh air. This really is like, it's not just your truth, but this is the truth that makes you feel like you're at home within yourself, like you're inside, integrity within yourself. all of these things, it's like things are coming to the fore of your awareness. And what it's really doing, is putting you back in touch with the part of you that sees the connection between the 9 and the 10 of cups, and sees that you are the key to that, to ending whatever cycle it is, because this is a 9 of swords and the ace makes up a 10, which is the ending of a cycle. It's like, it's how you're connecting with this core aspect of your truth and moving forward from that, right? Moving forward from that. If it's not love, I don't know. It certainly feels like it, right? But the main lesson here is like, it's safe for you to love. That's what this whole thing is, like the integrity. And that's such an interesting, thank you so much, Spirit. Oh, that's beautiful. It's like being inside integrity is yourself, inside integrity with yourself is operating under the assumption that it is safe to love, that it is safe for you, like that it's possible to have a relationship where you feel held and free. Glennon Doyle talks a lot about that. And when I read that, I was like, oh, yes, tell me more. Sign me up. Are there t-shirts? Can I get a bumper sticker? Like, how do I buy into this? Right. And it's like, it's the Ace of Swords, right? You don't have to buy into anything, obviously. It's just, unless you buy her book, which I recommend. Untamed is fucking phenomenal. But the minute that you step into your truth, that's when you step into something much bigger than yourself. And when you're in that bigger than yourself place, you realize that even the hard stuff, the difficulties, the challenges, all of it was in service to something much bigger, some part of you that's like this divine unfolding. There's a divine unfolding happening here. Unfurling, I'm hearing, because I was seeing the motion of a flower opening. Sometimes it's like the sped up. I can't think of the word because I'm channeling, but it's like the flower opening. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here, like the flower opening. I feel like there's something about it's like your sincere effort, your sincerity feels more accessible to you. Not to suggest that you might have been insincere before, but there's a way that you might have put a cover over it. You might have not masked it completely, but what do you think? The 3 of Wands is important, baby girl? But this cat, I love her so much. But it gets to a point where when you're in that place of sincerity, because you're connected to what you want. You're connected at a deeper level to how you want, I just heard, and why. And there's this understanding, right? You don't have to comprehend all the details. The wheel is here in the antagonist position of the hero's journey here to suggest that you won't comprehend all the details. It's just not possible. But there's something here that you have to kind of feel your way through, because that's where the truth is. You have to feel your way through. I feel like this is something cyclical. 1717 was just on the time. I'm going to put that there. You want to in? Okay. Nope. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? Messages for my daily creatives. Five of Wands. You might have felt like I'm seeing competing truths more than anything. Competing truths. So these are beliefs that you hold. So you can want, for example, you can want a new job, right? Or a new car, or a new whatever. You can think about a manifestation that's relative to you, right? I have a camera on my vision board. The model number, let me see here. It's a Z7 II, Nikon Z7 II, right? Mirrorless, all new, fancy, bells and whistles galore, because I have an older DSLR, right? So let's say I want that camera, right? Well, I do. It's on my vision board. Anyway, I can want that camera and believe that I will get it. But then if I believe that work has to be really hard, or I'm not in the process of working through those beliefs, that will come, but it will come with so much effort and so much difficulty. So it's like, that's where we can say it's like competing truths, right? Things that we hold to be true can cause this dissonance where we think that we're acting on behalf of our dreams, and we are, but there's a part of us that, and this can be shadow work, and don't dive too deep, right? Because you might you don't want to stay there. And in terms of that, you don't want to stay there in a way that makes that your frequency and your set point, right? But it's like, these competing truths can kind of hold things apart so that it feels hard, right? Or where you can say, well, I'm ready and willing to receive love. I'm ready and willing for a relationship that feels amazing, that's reciprocal, that lights me up inside, and within which I can be my best and highest self, and within which my partner can be their best and highest self. Okay. So that's like an affirmation if there ever was one. But if you believe that, and then you have other beliefs that you haven't quite dealt with otherwise, in terms of not being enough, not feeling worthy, feeling like there are all of these caveats to love, that you have to meet these weird standards that other people have because you haven't forgiven them for the ways that they treated you in the past, right? Hand up, right? That's something I've worked through myself right now, like real time, not like this second, but in the past couple of weeks. Yeah. Like, right. So it's like, if you don't do those things, yeah, you'll find that, what feels like all of these amazing things find you on the path, but then it's always set apart from you just so that you can't really access it, or it doesn't feel free. It doesn't feel like you're being held, which is, for me, lots of Aquarius. my son is an Aquarius, and that's in the 9th house. So Aqua and Sag, tell me about freedom, friends. Like, right. But it's like feeling held and free is one of the things that I want to feel in my life, core values, right? And that I also want to be able to do that for another person. And if you have these competing beliefs, it's really hard for spirit to I mean, it will eventually, but do you want it to be hard? Like, Abraham Hicks has a saying that says, let go or be dragged, right, behind the kind of vehicle of your manifesting capacities and power, right? So sometimes we believe that, we allow ourselves to be dragged instead of to just go with the flow. So this is maybe a message to go with the flow here, and to release the need to have these competing truths to justify your good, as though the hard is how the light gets in. And, yes, the cracks are how the light get in, but it's also a matter of seeing that you don't need the hard in the way that you may have before, right? When you're in survival mode and you're getting out of survival mode, that's the truth, right? This is, okay, so I'm just holding this up. This was on the split, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. When things are really hard and you're in survival mode, it's hard for you to see your truth and yourself as having value, because you're constantly responding. And that's what survival mode is, right? It's operating in a mode of constant response, so that you never get to really live, right? You never get to really live. And your expectations, there's a book that I'm reading, shocker. It is this book here. I just got it from the library the other day. I put it on hold. So You Owe You. Excellent book. One of the things that it talks about, I don't know if I'll find the direct quote, but he talks about survival mode, right? And how when you are in survival mode, you don't really get the chance, you don't give yourself the chance to dream really big. Like, it's just not how that works, right? And it's not even about just like holding your potential in high regard. That is part of it. 2-2 on the time. Something new, friends, something new. But it's like when you're in that place, you can't, dreaming is your last priority, right? I'm grateful because, so many places and times in my life, I was afforded the opportunity to dream. I was afforded that. And that's why I have, broken a cycle of poverty in my family for the most part. Just some beliefs that I'm getting rid of, right? Just releasing that, some cycles of difficulty, all of that stuff. It's like, there's, and that's not to, well, whatever, it's fine. But it's just to say that you have to allow yourself to step out of survival mode and to see beyond where you are, so that you can then create something more for yourself, right? And to blow away the expectations that your ancestors have, right? And I know this is more poignant, a point for specific to people of color, even though I say like that sort of default whiteness, I don't like saying it like that, but still to make the point. For people of color, that can be more poignant, and I think about, as a white person, my grandfather's Jewish and, Jewish German, and my grandmother's Ukrainian, on my mother's side, and they've both passed away. But I don't know that he would have dreamed something big for my life, because he was, they came over from, Danzig, Germany, so Poland now. And, you have this, you get into this place where, like, I don't think that him working midnights at a bakery for I think it was 30 or 40 years, something like that. That his primary focus was as an immigrant, survival and making sure that another generation could survive here. And there are times where and he's come to me in dreams and we've had these conversations, but it's just like, I don't think that he would have dreamed that. And it's like it's like passing on a dream. I don't know, maybe there's like ancestral energy here for some, but it's like passing on that dream, right? And this book, again, he talks about this a lot. And again, as a Black man, it's very different. When we talk about ancestral energy, I just want to point that out and honor that. And people might say, well, it's not different because we all have ancestors. It is. But for those who have been oppressed historically, there's a difference in what that ancestral dreaming means, right? So I wanted to pay respects to that and to make sure that I pointed that out. And I think, and it's not to say that there's a difference in that at all either. It's just to say that the ways that we honor that, it's important for me to do that. So nonetheless, it's like allowing yourself to dream something more than what was or what has been, and not to do that from a place of looking at what wasn't, right? This is possibly where we can get fate twisted into the mix. And it's like, it's almost like seeing through fate's eyes, or seeing through the eyes of Jupiter, through the eyes of destiny. The eyes of Jupiter. I'm writing this down, sorry. Through the eyes of Jupiter. Yeah. It's like there's an expansion. Obviously, with Jupiter, that tends to be the case, but I feel like there's something about that ancestral energy. And with the 10 of Cups, the 10s in the Cups and Pentacles, to me, represent a kind of emotional legacy from your ancestors. And then the Pentacles are more of the tactile legacy, the tangibles, land transfers, or even just like values that you can concretize into something like for yourself tangibly every day. So, Spirit, can you tell me a little bit more about this 10 of Cups, 9 of Swords, and 4 of Swords in this expansion? 3 of Swords, 10 of Cups. Wow. This is like, it's like overcoming heartbreak. It's like at the most basic level. But in the context of all of this, it's like, it's almost like there's like healing of patterns, like stories that you've told. Maybe there were 3 main stories that your family told about itself and what it could do and what was possible. Yeah. Or like stories about love, stories about what you could aspire to emotionally speaking, like what's available to you. What did you see, if your parents are still together, or even if they were separate, like what did you see and how did they love one another and other people? Like how was that expressed? How was that expressed? I feel like that's what's coming in here. 3 of Wands and the Page of Wands. So we have the 2 of Swords and the King of Swords. So interesting. Look at this too. 10, 10, and the King. It's almost like the pain that your family experienced. I don't know if there's a patriarch or a member of your family. This is again coming through as ancestral energy because this is older. Like I'm thinking grandfather energy. I know my grandfather. It doesn't feel like his energy, but it's like there could be something like that, or an uncle or something along those lines, where it's like the pain that you experienced was not without purpose, and there's something that might be coming to fruition or being fulfilled through you, through all of us at any given time. That is true, but I almost feel like this is you in this King of Swords energy, where it's like there's an understanding and clarity that you have. You might have overthought something, or overanalyzed, thinking that you needed to have more details than you needed or than you had. Like there was something that was inaccessible to you. So perhaps too, this is about going within and moving away a little bit from the facts, figures mentality, specifically because this is part where it could become a tower if it goes unchecked, with the Page of Wands being this sense of fun and curiosity, light-heartedness, right? Like leaning into that. And I think it's like, it's not a refusal to see, but I think this is seeing through the eyes of what's true and what's there, but then not forgetting to have fun, because that's how you really understand what it means. Like, surfing, how much you love to swim, that poem by Tyler Knott Gregson, how much you love to swim, right? So I've read it before on this channel, but nonetheless, 9 of Cups and the Hanged Man, Spirit with 9 of Swords and the Devil, dang, and the Hermit. You've been through it. I feel like it's not like a poor you. It's just to say, like, there's a lot that you've got on your mind. There are a lot of fears. So for every, and I don't know why this is coming through in this way, but for every fear that you have, write down a reason why that might not be true, or a potential frame of reference that would shift that tide, so that you're not so focused. Like, there's a part of you that's wiser now, but you're still in this fearful place, right? And it's almost becoming something that is like you're circling with, like you're ruminating with, like over all of the reasons why it could be bad, because that was a protective strategy. But it's almost like this is like your inner grown up saying, inner child, it's fine, dream. It's fine. Dream. There's so much more accessible and available to you with this Nine of Cups and Hanged Man. So much more accessible and available. And it's almost like I think that with the way that this is coming through, the Hermit is showing the way. Like, it's saying, I see these stories for what they are. I see these stories for what they are. No longer are they going to be the antagonist. I am going to turn them into the protagonist in my life, so that I can then rise up into this hero's journey like the phoenix from the ashes of what was, right? The burning fire, the devil energy isn't a fire. It's Capricorn energy, but it's coming through in like the heat of hell, like the hell that was. And all these stories keep you locked in that place, ruminating, because you need to feed that ego. You need to feed the story, because if the story runs out of gas, then it will no longer be true. So it's almost like a decision that you've made here with this King of Swords and the Two of Swords, to be a little bit more lighthearted and in a different kind of fire, to integrate and to introduce the Page of Wands fire of curiosity and fun and lightheartedness, as opposed to the burden energy of this devil and feeling like you have to do it all, because you don't. You're wiser, you're smarter than this, and you're seeing, I think you're holding the light to this. You're holding this star, lighting the path for yourself. You're seeing what is and is not true, and what doesn't need to be true, what was never true in the first place. Yeah. And being, to cap off the reading, being inside integrity with yourself, justice. Being inside integrity with yourself. I don't know what you're working on, and if you needed the reminder or a sign, let this be it. You've got this. Perhaps more than you understand or know, you have got this. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to shine a light on things that need to be seen about you, right? This isn't just about confidence, but this is about giving up a power struggle too, where you might have been fighting yourself internally, 3131, and burning through so much energy. Not that it was completely inaccessible or unusable or unobtainable. Like, it made it so that there were so many different obstacles, perhaps, that you had to overcome, right? You had to overcome. And triumph is amazing, but it's not a way to live, because that is in itself a method of survival mode, right? That's a method of survival mode. But there's something that you're able to see now so differently. And I think this is the energy of being inside integrity with yourself. This is the energy of being inside the integrity of the story, what you want, and being unafraid to reach for that, and not being afraid to live the dreams that you have. Like, they're not just vision board fodder. They're actual qualities of the world as you look around and see them. You know, the quote that's coming to mind right now was that, I've seen this recently, but it's just that, like, the problems that you have today, 5 years ago, you would have dreamed of having those problems. So it's not about ignoring the pain or frustration or feeling that they bring, because we need to integrate that. 3232 is just on the time. We need to integrate that into the core of our being. But this is telling me that there's something more accessible to you when you see the silver lining, the Nine of Swords, that one piece, right? You see the silver lining. And you reach for that over and over, and then eventually the silver lining will become the dominant frequency at which you think, and that will be the dominant circling of thoughts, as opposed to the ones that sometimes worry feels really productive, but I think you need to give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Which one, Spirit? This one. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please, for September 19th to close out this reading? I am not the victim. I am the lighthouse. That is the Hermit energy. Completely. 3333. Let the past be the past. The song that's coming through right now is Brand New Day by Joshua Radin. And the hero who finds you make your past your past. Something along those lines. Yeah. You are not the victim. You are the lighthouse. I can release this. Oh, this is so ancestral. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Spirit. I honestly, I wish nothing but healing for you in your ancestors, your lineage, all of the struggles or pain that you might have experienced. I really hope that in this lifetime you break free. You are a cycle breaker. You know, I put together this channel with the intention of putting information out there and energy and tapping into spirit and channeling and doing all of these things that would help people. And damn it, I really hope that in this lifetime you find freedom. That's my hope. And those coming here, I hope that you are and count yourself among cycle breakers, or, the people who do things outside of norms and all of that. My Aquarian weird salutes you. And not weird as in cycle breakers are weird, but for that part of you that you may feel like you need to hide. But I want you to be free. And that's where just affirm this to yourself. I can release ancient pain simply by feeling it. You don't have to understand it, specifically when it's something ancestral. Epigenetics are a whole thing, right? If you're looking for a good resource, the book, It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolynn, M-A-R-K, and then last name W-O-L-Y-N-N. It Didn't Start With You, Mark Wolynn. It talks about epigenetics and reparenting. I highly recommend it. But allow yourself to just feel it and to release it so that that can be free, because it's this spaciousness inside of you, right? And that's where this song, this internal music starts to play and reverberate off the walls of the inner cathedral that is your heart, because then you understand that there's an expanse in there, because it's not filled with boxes like an old attic that needs to be dusted, cleaned, and redone, right? That's where it's like you hear it bouncing off and echoing back in a way that gives you goosebumps, even though the chanting in Gregorian or whatever is happening. You don't understand the full depth of the Latin. You just know that there's a part of you that resonates with the spaciousness of it. So let that spaciousness come to you through that energy. Okay, so now I'm going to read this just to end this reading here. So, you are magical. Don't forget it. Dear you, you are in such good shape right now that we're all doing a happy dance. In this moment, you have the power to make a choice to get with spirit and co-create a miracle. You may wonder where this is all going, but if you want to manifest your desires for the highest good, you need to stay focused on the now. All power is in the present moment. Ask yourself, what are your dominant thoughts now? What beliefs are you motivated by? Do you have clarity right now? How is your conscious contact with the divine? Are you plugged in, or are you trying to do life all by your small self? Get rid of negative energy now. Resentments be gone. Forgiveness and love enter, please. You can do your life beautifully and create your most powerful future right here, right now, in this moment. Aren't you thrilled to know you have aren't you thrilled to know you have a huge cheering section over here? Love and hugs always. Yeah. So that, that, I don't know if you needed to know that. You've got some pretty divine support behind you. Wow, this is like such a great energy. I hope that it sinks in. I hope that you steep in this release. And like I said, I hope that in this lifetime you find freedom. That's my wish. And honestly, if I can put that intention out there right now, energetically speaking for you, I want to send you that. I want to send you that freedom. I want you to understand what it means to be held and free, to know what it feels like to have such to laugh so hard you cry, and to cry so hard you laugh, because you understand there's a lightheartedness, even amidst challenges, all of it. That's just... I hope that today and always you stand in your 10 of Cups, and that it surrounds you and wraps you up just like this. Even if you're single or whatever that means to you, it doesn't mean that your 10 of Cups is somewhere else. It's right here, right now. So that is your reading for today, my friends. I hope that this finds you very well. And if this resonated, give it a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel if you're not here already. But if you are, thank you so much for joining me from there. And as always, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very well, my friends. Take care, and so much love.